What's up, guys? Back with another LR Sports video. Today we're going to be talking about the ranking predictions for the Big 12 and the SEC.
And we're only going to be talking about a couple of the teams in the ACC because the rest of the ACC is kind of trash.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No.
Okay, we're going to start off with the Big 12. Reagan, who do you have?
At the number 10 spot, I have Kansas with a record of 2-10. Their defense is not amazing, but what really needs help is their offense. Their passing game is not awful, but their rushing is going to need a lot of improvement. Landon, who do you have at the number 10 spot?
Well, I agree with you, Reagan. I do think that Kansas has a pretty poor offense that needs to get better, and I agree with you that they will go 2-10.
So, Landon, who do you have at the number 9 spot?
I have the Texas Tech Red Raiders going 3-9. Their offense is really good, but their defense is the worst defense in the country and the worst defense that I've ever seen. They're absolutely terrible, and their coach Cliff Kingsbury is not going to bring them anywhere. Reagan, who do you have at number 9?
At the number 9 spot, I have Iowa State with the record of 3-9. Iowa State has a good offense. Their quarterback was very good this year, and their running game is good too. And their defense isn't bad, but they're not good. Just nothing really seems to work out for Iowa State.
Reagan, who do you have at the number 8 spot?
At the 8 spot, I have Texas Tech with the record of 4-8. I agree with you that Texas Tech has a good offense, but the loss in Patrick Mahomes was hard for them. Nick Shimnick's supposed to do really well, though, and their defense is absolutely horrible. I agree with you. Landon, who do you have at the number 8 spot?
Well, I agree with all you said about Iowa State. I think that they're going to go 4-8, and their coaching staff is looking better, so I think in a couple years they're going to be a pretty good team. Watch out for Iowa State. At the number 7 spot, Reagan and I both have Baylor going 6-6. Reagan, why do you have them at the 7th spot?
I think that the loss of Art Briles has really turned Baylor downhill. This team has a lot of talent, and if they can find the right person to run the team, they could be really good.
I totally agree with you, Reagan. Baylor is looking pretty good in the next couple of years.
So at the 6th spot, me and Landon agree that West Virginia is going to go 7-5. Landon, why do you think West Virginia is going to be at the 6th spot?
Well, I think that they lost a bunch of their seniors from last year. But they brought in a pretty good quarterback from Florida in Will Grier. The defense is still really good, but with a tough preseason schedule, I think it's going to be hard for the Mountaineers of West Virginia to win 8 games or more.
I think it's going to be tough for them this year, too.
At the number 5th spot in the Big 12, we both think that TCU is going to go 7-5. Why do you think the Frogs are going to be at the 5th spot?
Well, TCU is pretty good right now, but in the next couple of years, all their really good players will be leaving. But they soon might get a couple of really good recruits, and their program will start doing well. But for now, it's just downhill for TCU.
Look at the top of his head.
So at the number 4 spot in the Big 12 Conference, we have Kansas State with the record of 8-4. I have Kansas State at number 4 because they have a good quarterback who has good legs and he can run, and they also have a really good defense. Even though they lost their best defensive lineman, I think they can still do really well. Landon, what do you think about Kansas State?
Well, if the Kansas State coach Bill Snyder can keep himself healthy, Kansas State is looking pretty good for the next couple of years. At the number 3 spot in the Big 12 Conference, I have Texas going 8-4, and Reagan has Texas going 9-3. How do you think that Texas is going to bounce back from last year?
I think that their old coach, Charlie Strong, did a really good job in recruiting, and now that they have a really good coach in Tom Herman from Houston, I think they're going to do really well this year. What do you think Texas has done to improve from last year?
Well, I think it's maturity. A lot of their players were very young last year, and now since they're a little bit older, they have lots of talent on that team, and I think it's going to fit well. For the number 2 team in the Big 12, I have the Oklahoma Sooners going 9-3. I think losing Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, and Sterling Shepard really hurt this Oklahoma Sooners team. But I do think that their defense is still going to be pretty productive. But overall, they won't have to play many of tough teams in the Big 12. Also, another huge setback is their star wide receiver, D.D. Westbrook, is leaving, and I don't think that this offense can be very productive.
At the number 2 spot, I have Oklahoma State with the record of 10-2. Oklahoma State looks like they're going to be really good this year, especially because of their really good quarterback in Mason Rudolph. They also have a very good wide receiver in James Washington, who is Mason Rudolph's favorite target. Their defense doesn't really have any stars, but they're still strong and consistent.
At the number 1 spot, I have Oklahoma State going 10-2. I agree with what all you said. Mason Rudolph is a very, very good quarterback, and they have a very strong wide receiver core and can run the ball consistently. This is why I think Oklahoma State will win the Big 12.
At the number 1 spot, I have Oklahoma with a record of 11-1. They have a very strong quarterback in Baker Mayfield. And even though they lost some of their core pieces on offense, I still think Baker Mayfield can succeed on his own. And Baker Mayfield also has some help on the other side of the ball with a pretty good defense. Their coaching staff also did a really good job in recruiting. Okay guys, just to save time, we're only going to talk about who we think is the number 1 team in the SEC.
We both think that Alabama will be the best team in the SEC. The recruiting hasn't been very good this year, but they still have a lot of talent from the past couple of recruiting years.
They have a great sophomore quarterback and also an incredible running back in Bo Scarborough. Now we're going to talk about who we think is going to be the number 1 team in the ACC, Clemson. Clemson has all the good players they have from last year except for Deshaun Watson, but they got the number 1 recruit in the nation, who is a quarterback, who can probably fill in for Deshaun Watson.
The Clemson Tigers have the number 1 recruiting class of 2017. This team is super talented and is going to be very good for the next couple of years. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe and have a nice day.